Okay, so this video is on significant figures and how to do calculations. Some really good startup rules. Order of operations. So you're going to do addition / subtraction. Those guys are always going to go first. The second rule is that you don't round at the end. So to illustrate everything that you need to know, I'm going to do a density calculation. Density is D equals M over V. And I'm going to use a supposed liquid that, for some reason, I've kept in 3 separate measuring devices, either graduated cylinders, volumetric flasks, or pipettes. And we're going to put them all into one container. And so we're going to get our volume, we're going to get our mass, and during the process, we're going to learn how to calculate, how to do addition and subtraction. So here's our sample. It's in 3 different graduated cylinders, let's say. We're going to pour them all into one container, okay? And then we weigh the container in advance, and then we're going to find out what the actual mass of the liquid is. All right, so we'll say this is about 1.5 milliliters, this one is about 0.52 milliliters, and this is about 0.068 milliliters. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these numbers together over here. So I have 1.5 plus 0.52 plus 0.068. I'm going to add these numbers together with my calculator. I have my calculator for this. So we'll put the 8 here, we'll put the 8 here, we'll put the 0 here, and we'll carry it over and we'll make the 2. Now, the general rule for addition and subtraction is we start on the left, make an arrow, and as soon as we hit the last completed column, and that includes zeros in this case, and I don't want to get too into that, but we are certain in this particular case of the 10th place that this is our last complete column. So when we round this, your answer is going to be 2.1, and that's a volume of milliliters. This will be the correct answer if they ask you for what the volume is when you add it. However, we're going to find that the unrounded numbers we're going to use in our density calculation. And that makes things a little complicated because it means you need to keep the number of significant figures. You need to keep track of that, even if the number on the page does not show that. All right, so this is going to be our volume. Our mass is going to add these 2 numbers. So we have 0.0276. Notice I'm putting it into things so I can do a column. Now, obviously, you could do this in your head, but you just need to be careful about it. 0.00302. I'm going to add these numbers together. And so I have a 2 and a 6 and a 0. And I'm going to carry my 1, so this is a 3, and there's a 0 there in the decimal. And the last column, as I go from left to right, I'm illustrating the practice here, is I'm going to go like that, and my correct answer is 0.0306. This is my correct answer, rounded answer for the mass. Now, on the next page, I'm going to pause. So what I've done is I've shown the calculations for density here. The top one has the unrounded numbers, and this is using the rounded numbers. The general rule is that the top one is the correct way of doing it. The reason why is because, as you can see, if you round along the way, every time you round, you're going to change the result of every individual calculation. So if you use this number, you're going to get a slightly, if you use the rounded values, you get a slightly different answer. So, however, you still need to keep yourself aware of the number of significant digits. This number down here has 2 significant digits, and this one has 3. So even though these numbers don't illustrate that point, when you do the final calculation, and because of the rule for multiplication and division, is that when you're doing multiplication / division, okay, the least accurate number, which means the smallest number of significant digits, is going to determine how you're going to round. So if you have one number with 2 significant figures, the other one has 3, you're going to round to 2 significant digits. Now in this particular case, it means you're going to round right there. And in both cases, you're going to round up, so you end up with 0.015 grams per milliliter. 0.015 grams per. In this particular case, your final result is unchanged. However, you can see how, due to rounding purposes, it could be possible that this would end up being, let's say, a 4, and this was a 5 up above, in which case, in one case, you would round it up, in one case, you would keep it the same. So the general rule is basically as follows. 1, follow the order of operations. 2, do addition and subtraction first. And whenever you do that, just start on the left and find the last complete column and use the next one over for rounding. Number 3, when you're doing multiplication and division, okay, it's basically your least accurate measurement is the one that's going to determine how many significant figures. And finally, number 4, don't round to the end, until the end. But keep in mind how many significant figures there were. So even though this is written this way, you have to say that has 3 significant figures, that has 2, so our answer is going to be rounded to 2 significant digits. Now, one last thing I want to tell you. When you're doing the problems in the book, because this covers the 3 short lessons on significant figures, I have assigned you the ones for which there's no answer in the back of the book. There's odds and evens. I don't remember what I gave you. You'll see that the questions come in pairs. So if, let us say, you are doing you're assigned question 36, if you look at question 37 and 35, which are the odds, those ones are very similar to 36. That's in chapter 1. And the answers for the odds are in the back, or the one I didn't assign. So you can look them up and check that you know what you're doing before you do the assignment.